How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're starting Nedarim Daled, 44 of Masechet Nedarim, friends. Today we're starting. It's the second day with the new microphone, and today we're starting. Today we're studying Daf Mem Daled, Daf 44 of Masechet Nedarim, friends. We're continuing with this machlokas between the rabbis and Rabbi Yossi that we saw yesterday at the end of the Mishnah. That if Reuven can't get any benefit from Shimon, and they're traveling together, and Reuven doesn't have gunish to eat, so Shimon could make his pizza ownerless and put it on a rock, and then Reuven can eat it. Now, Rabbi Yossi says no, he can't, and so we saw the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan, who says that Rabbi Yossi's opinion is that when you make something ownerless, it's still in the possession of the owner, of the original owner, until the person who takes it, in which case he's taking it directly, Reuven's taking it directly from Shimon, which is not allowed. We're going to see soon the opinion of Rish Lakish, but let's see. Okay. So here we go. So we're on Daf Mem Gimel Amud Beis, 3 lines from the bottom. Tanya, we learn in the Brayso, Mafkir Sadeu. So if a fellow makes his field ownerless, Kol Shlosha Yomim Yochol Lachzer Bo, Mikan Ve'elech in Yochol Lachzer Bo. So he has 3 days to change his mind. He makes his field ownerless, so for 3 days he can change his mind, but after 3 days it's gone. It's no longer his. And therefore, if somebody takes it, he's taking it from Hefker. It's ownerless. He's not taking it from the owner. So Shimon makes his field ownerless. So for the first 3 days he can take it back, but after 3 days he can't take it back. And therefore, when Reuven takes it, he's taking it from Hefker. He's not taking it from Shimon. Omar, Tehei Sadazo Mufkeres Liyom Echad. If a fellow says that this field should be Hefker, but just for 1 day, the Shabbos Achas for a week, the Chodesh Echad for a month, the Shana Achas for a year, the Shavua Achas for 7 years, Ad Shelo Zocha Bo Beinu Ben Acher Yochel Achzer Bo. So as long as nobody has taken it, so he can always be Chozer. Mishazocha Bo Beinu Ben Acher En Yochel Achzer Bo. But once somebody takes it, he can no longer be Chozer. So we see here that in the Reisha, right, so fact the Gemara, Reisha, Abundant, Sefer, Rabbi Yossi. So are we saying that the Reisha is the rabbis and the Sefer is Rabbi Yossi? Meaning, in the Reisha we're saying that after 3 days, you can no longer be choser, you can no longer take it back, it's no longer his, it's gone. So that's like the rabbis who say that once a person is mafkir something, it's hefker. And it doesn't belong to him anymore. Based on the understanding of Rabbi Yochanan. Whereas Rabbi Yossi's opinion is that no, until somebody takes it, it still belongs to the original owner, and that's why, right? And Rabbi Yossi, and we're saying in the second part that until somebody takes it, it belongs to the right. That the fellow can be choser, he can retract until somebody takes it. Once somebody takes it, he can't retract it anymore because then it belongs to the other person. But until then, he can retract. So it sounds like the first part of the Mishnah, which says that after 3 days he can no longer retract. It's no longer his. It's gone. That's like the rabbis. The second part of this Brayso, which is saying that until somebody takes it, the original owner can be choser. It sounds like Rabbi Yossi who's saying that it's that it's his until somebody takes it. When somebody takes it, they're taking it directly from the original owner. So Amar Ula, so says Ula Seifa Nami Rabbanan Hi. So says Ula that the whole Brayso is the rabbis. The whole Brayso is the rabbis who say that when you're mafkir something, it's immediately hefker. So if that's the case, then how do you explain the Seifa where it says that until somebody takes it, it belongs to the owner and the person can retract? So if that's the case, then why does the Seifa say that he can always change his mind until somebody takes it? I thought that once you're mafkir something, it's gone. It's no longer yours. So well, because the Seifa of that Brayso is a unique case. Right? He was talking about a situation where he says, I'm being mafkir something for a day, for a week, right? For a year, for 7 years, whatever it is. That's unique. Clearly he's trying to express something. He's trying to express some kind of a limitation that he's not fully being mafkir it. And for that reason, he can, until somebody takes it, he could retract. It's not a regular case of hefker. But if he simply says that, this field is hefker, well, in that case, it would immediately be ownerless. But when he says, I'm being mafkir it for a day, so it's not really properly ownerless, and until somebody takes it, he can still retract. Rish Lakish Amar says, Rish Lakish, the Sefer Rabbi Yossi Reish Nam Rabbi Yossi, Rish Lakish says, Punkt Fakert. Rish Lakish says, Punkt Fakert. Rish Lakish says, Punkt Fakert. That the Gans Brayso is Rabbi Yossi. That says Rish Lakish, the entire Brayso is Rabbi Yossi. The second part, where it says that until somebody takes it, he can retract, is of course Reb Yossi. And even the first part of the Braise, which says that after 3 days he cannot retract, that's also Reb Yossi. Where am I? And in the first part of the Braise, why it says that after 3 days he can no longer retract is because we don't want you to forget the laws of Hefker, of things being ownerless. Right? That if we say that even after 3 days he could still retract, he could retract forever, as long as nobody's taken it. Well then, what happens to the laws of making things ownerless? Right? People are gonna think that making things ownerless is irrelevant. And therefore, in order to preserve the laws of making things ownerless, we say, look, after 3 days you can no longer retract. Well, if we're concerned about people, preserving these laws of ownerlessness, well then, even from day one, why not say that according to Reb Yossi, even though, yes, technically midoraisa, it belongs to the owner until somebody takes it, but out of concern of forgetting the laws of Hefker, immediately when a person is mafkir something, it should be Hefker. It should no longer be his. So So Rabbah says, well, because we're concerned about the sneaky people. The sneaky people might just say, my field is Hefker. And then if we say, okay, it's actually going to be considered Hefker because we don't want you to forget about the laws of Hefker. So what's going to happen is the sneaky people who don't want to separate Meiser, they're going to say, okay, my field is Hefker, and then immediately take it, and then they're going to say, I don't need to separate Meiser because I took it from Hefker. And therefore, to avoid a situation of the sneaky people, so we say, look, for the first 3 days, you can't, right, it's not immediately considered ownerless. But after 3 days, it is considered ownerless so that you don't forget the laws of Hefker. And the reason why we don't say immediately it's Hefker is because then people might be sneaky and say, I'll just make my field Hefker, and then immediately I'll reclaim it, and then I don't need to separate Meiser. Aval Dorais Lo Hefker. So the Gemara says, wait, so you're basically telling me, Rish Lakish, that according to Reb Yossi, when a fellow is mafkir something, so it's still his until somebody takes it. It's still his until somebody takes it. And then when we say that after 3 days, he can no longer take it back, it's only midirabanon, so we don't forget about the laws of Hefker, but really it still does belong to him. And what does that mean? What's the nafkamina if it really belongs to him? If it really belongs to him, so if you have a field that you were mafkir, and it's now been 3 days, and you can't take it back, it's still midoraisa, belongs to the original owner. It's not actually midoraisa Hefker, which means it's chayiv and meiser midoraisa. What if you have, let's say, in otzitz she'enu nokov? Let's say you have stuff growing in a planter that doesn't have any holes in it, and therefore it's separate from the ground, therefore it's only chayiv and meiser midorabanon. So now you have this otzitz she'enu nokov that's chayiv in meiser midorabanon. Now you have this field. Now you have this field that you think is only chayiv in meiser midorabanon. You have this field that's only chayiv in meiser midorabanon. No, I'm sorry, you have this field that really is chayiv in meiser midoraisa, right? You have the otzitz she'enu nokov, which is chayiv in meiser midorabanon. You have this field which is really chayiv in meiser midoraisa, right? Because it still belongs to you until somebody takes it. But you're going to think that it's only chayiv in meiser midorabanon, and you're going to separate from the field, which is only also midorabanon, right? Maybe you're going to separate for that for the otzitz she'enu nokov, but really the field is chayiv in meiser midoraisa, or also maybe punkt fakert. Maybe you'll separate from the otzitz she'enu nokov for the field, because you'll think that they both have the same chiyuv, but the truth is the field is actually chayiv midoraisa. You can't separate from the otzitz she'enu nokov for the field. So the amri lei, the aminon lei ki maaseres aser mini uveis. We say, look, when you separate, when you make the field hefker, and we say after 3 days you can no longer retract. We say, look, still any meiser that you're going to separate, make sure you're only separating from the field. Don't separate from the field for other things, because that could be problematic. Okay, so we try to just solve it with better communication. That even though midoraisa, the field will still belong to the owner. Midorabanan, we say that it's considered hefker after 3 days, and we say, look, if you're separating meiser, just separate only from the field and don't mix and match with any other things. That way we can avoid any pitfalls. All right. Fine, very nice. So we that was Daf Mem Daled, Daf 44 of Masechta Nedarim. So today we saw a brisa that we're trying to figure out. Is it the opinion of the rabbis? Is it the opinion of Rabbi Yossi? Ula said that the whole thing is the rabbis. Rabbi Yossi, is it the opinion? Right. Rabbi Shlokish says that the whole thing is Rabbi Yossi, and that we're just concerned that even according to Rabbi Yossi, after 3 days of being mafker a field, it would be considered hefker. Just that we don't forget about the laws of hefker. All right, friends, that was Daf Mem Daled Masechta Nedarim. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.